Welcome along to this God of War 2018 review, or God of War PS4, God of War 4, Dad of Boy, whatever you want to call this amazing game. This is truly a standard setting action adventure. I am Respawn Roscoe and this is my full review of God of War, which is only available on the PlayStation 4. Now, a lot has been said about this game already. Masterpiece has been put out there and lots of people have already had their say, but on mygamesounds.com we got ourselves a retail copy of this and have given it the full review treatment. If you are watching this on YouTube, guys, get into the description for the full written review from me on mygamesounds.com, your home of quality gaming coverage. If not, if you're just watching the video, please do enjoy my review as we look through the gameplay, the presentation and the features of this game, along with my overall verdict on whether you should play this or not. But I think you already know the answer to that. Here we go with the full review. God of War is outstanding in terms of what it delivers as a gameplay product. Now, it's easy to think about God of War back in the past as being all about these huge, massive boss fights, enemies coming at you from all sides, but you should remember that there was a lot of puzzles to do in the original God of War games. There was also a lot of things that involved challenges with various doors to open, lots of things to get past. And what God of War 2018 manages to do is remain sympathetic to these, but modernise nearly every aspect of the gameplay. The big change, of course, is the fact you start with a new main weapon in this game, and that's the Leviathan Axe. I can't actually put into words how unbelievably good it is to smash the heads off things with this thing. It's so satisfying, and especially as you call it back and catch it in your hand and you get that little vibration feedback every time. You can upgrade it, it feels great, it feels like a more mature Kratos, and it's just one of those wonderful, unexpected pleasures of the game that could have been one of the things to make it not work as well as the original ones. There's also a new kind of boss fight. Now, there's a new camera angle to the game, which I'm going to talk about that exceptional piece of work and decision later. But it really works in the combat here too, particularly in the boss fights, as you're fighting giant trolls, dragons, but also human-sized enemies as the Norse mythology gods come and attack you. And you've got people like the stranger that you meet early on, which is only a human-sized person, but the boss fight delivers that impact, that wonderful feeling that you've beaten something larger than life due to the events that occurred during that battle. Honestly, I think it's one of my favourite boss fights of all time. But you've also got this idea of exploring a land. You're no longer an angry god in Greece, you're in Midgard, you're in a land where you have a son, and Atreus is with you through your journey. And you've got to explore this wonderful land that's full of unknown mythology to Kratos, and he's reliant on his son in order to help him through some of the more difficult areas and translate for him. But you also get some other supporting characters. There's some two dwarfs that help you, and you can gain XP and things on your weapons by upgrading with them, and it does add so much more to the game. It certainly has set a new standard for me in terms of action-adventure gameplay, with the exploration, the amount of things that you can do in side quests that I'll touch on later during the course of this review as well. It really has taken the action-adventure genre to a new level. The Last of Us did it last generation, and it was the game to beat for me personally. But in terms of the gameplay of this, you're looking at a new standard, and it's absolutely wonderful to play. Well done to the guys for the gameplay. Let's move on and start to have a look at the presentation of God of War. This is truly remarkable in terms of what it presents. There's a moment when you start the game, here it is, as Kratos was just in the background of the menu, and yet as soon as you start a new game, it flows straight into the gameplay. And this is the most amazing thing about it. Everything is seamless, smooth, and it's all due to what is one of the most magnificent decisions I could ever have imagined in the game, and one that must have caused the designers so much of a problem, and it's the camera. The camera never leaves you, and it was just something that was brought up in the build up to the game, and I didn't fully grasp how much of an impact it would have at that point. But the camera simply doesn't cut, it doesn't do anything other than move in and move out and move around you inappropriate to what's happening in the situation, and it never once gets in the way. It only amplifies the wonderful experience of the telling of this story between Kratos and Atreus. And as much as it was difficult to the guys to do in the design studio, I'm sure, it really does pay off. Everything about the presentation is beautiful too. The detail on the characters, on the world around you, even as a 1080p peasant as I review this, it was absolutely stunning. To keep that seamless feel and to enjoy those stunning visuals, you do have this really minimalistic heads-up display on the screen as well, which only fades in when you're in battle, and it really does keep that immersion going. Plus you have the option to go to a fully immersive mode with no graphics whatsoever other than your intuition of what's happening on the screen. The soundtrack is gorgeous and the voice acting is superb, especially the guys in the lead there, but you've got some wonderful side characters, and we've done a special voice artist spotlight on mygameslounge.com, which is an article link in the description with no spoilers, I should add. But in terms of graphics and presentation and sound quality, God of War is truly magnificent. It's one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen delivered anywhere. The textures, the quality, the attention to detail, the sound, the performances, everything about this game is stunning. At the heart of God of War is a wonderful story, one that tackles the emotions of loss and the relationship between Kratos and his son Atreus. But Kratos doesn't know too much about his son, and he's not particularly close at the beginnings of the game. So a lot of the journey is about their bonding as they go to spread their mother's ashes at the top of the highest peak in all of the realms. Now that takes them through some very perilous journeys, and they do need to be ready for a fight at all times, but it doesn't mean that there isn't room for exploration. And one of the moments that comes straight in there is that camera once again. It never leaves your side as this story is told, so you only ever know the story from Kratos' perspective. There's some wonderful moments through the game that I won't spoil, but the camera goes first person so you can see things straight through the eyes of Kratos, or it pans out so you can see a wider shot of the things that are happening over in the distance and overhear people talking that you wouldn't be able to hear normally, because obviously this game doesn't cut to show you what the bad guys are doing whilst you're not around. The camera is with you at all times. You only know what the main characters know. This means you don't necessarily see the villains of the piece so often, and the antagonists' motives remain a mystery until you witness them for yourself later in the game. But if anything, I think this increases the impact because the delivery on some of the acting, in particular the villain of the piece, is outstandingly good, especially driven by the camera that really connects you to both Atreus and Kratos. While personally the story is more than worth playing the game for alone, they've put in a wonderful amount of things that you can do. You can get out and explore the land of Midgard, the realms using the Bifrost, and get into some really interesting adventures by trying to take on the side quests. A number of things that you can do here will really increase the amount of time that you can spend in this land of God of War, and to be honest, even when you finish the game, you'll find it hard to put it down. There's so much to enjoy and do, particularly that wonderful combat, especially the way that axe kicks as it comes back to you and you can smash into your next enemy. It's a wonderful game to play, and there is so much to enjoy about it. Another element to enjoy in God of War 2018 is the introduction of gear. This means that you can construct Kratos and level him up in a way that was not really possible in the original games. You've both got a skills tree which levels up with you as you find different upgrades, and these will be found through your story missions in order to get various elements of your weaponry stronger and give you more abilities with them. There's also this idea of finding chests, which was in the original God of War series, but this time you'll be finding chests and finding loot. This will allow you to level up certain items, get things stronger, and craft better armor for Kratos, and boosting his stats in a way that suits you. You can also boost Atreus with this and give him more abilities and more strength from the things that you craft from him. These level and take you all the way through with epic, legendary, and the rare loot style that we're used to in various games around at the moment, and it really does work. There's no availability for things like loot crates or microtransactions here. It's all about getting into the game and finding them and building your Kratos up by doing a few things that could be considered grindy towards the end of the game, but they are pretty fun to do. Everything here in God of War in terms of features is designed to make you want to play and keep playing, and the best thing about God of War, as I've said before, is as soon as you've finished it, you're ready to come back in for more. The ultimate question, guys: should you play God of War 2018 on the PlayStation 4? Now, as you know, at mygameslounge.com, we don't score games, we give them awards and we recommend them to different gamers. And this one takes our highest award. It's truly magnificent. God of War is one of the most appealing games I could say to such a wide audience. The only criticism I can come up with the game after about 30-40 hours with it is the fact that occasionally when you're trying to climb from one ledge to another, you have to overly move the camera to look where you're jumping to the next little ledge. After a while it gets a tiny bit tedious. That is literally it, guys. Everything about this game is wonderful. It truly deserves the Elite Award. It deserves the praise that it's getting across the internet and across all platforms of journalism in gaming world. The level had been set by The Last of Us in the action-adventure genre for me personally. This one has beaten it. Let me know what you think about God of War, guys. Are you getting it? Have you got it already, and do you feel the same? What do you love about it? Get in those comments and let me know. If you enjoyed this video review, do like it, subscribe to the channel and share this around, and visit us on mygameslounge.com for the full written review, which again is in the description, along with the voice artist spotlight. I'm going to leave you with the icon for mygameslounge.com. Just click that to subscribe. It's super easy, and check out the other videos available on the My Games Lounge YouTube channel. I will see you guys later. Bye bye.